Hello and welcome back. We are moving on to order of operations. We are now using all the rules that we've learned about the integers, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing of integers, and we're going to be putting them to use in order of operations. I'm going to do a quick reminder of order of operations. There are some things that we need to kind of know and recognize. I don't know if you're aware of this extra part of order of operations. There's gonna be a lot kind of going on here. First off, order of operations, okay? It is, let me see here, so parentheses. Oh man, I went for a blank there. E, M, D. Okay, so PEMDAS, or however, people like to kind of say it. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, whatever it is, we're used to writing it either straight across or straight down. Now, the things that we need to kind of notice here is that I have the M and the D, so multiply and divide, and we have addition and subtract next to each other. Okay, this is the way that I write it. It's not taught when you first learn it this way, because you're always taught, oh, well, I multiply before I divide. Okay, this is where it changes, if it hasn't changed for you already. When you multiply and divide and you're trying to determine which one you're supposed to do, you need to go from left to right. So you need to find out, what am I doing first? If you're just saying, in this one problem, I'm trying to determine if I'm adding or subtracting or multiplying or dividing, you go left to right. I'm going to give an example of that now. So let's go 3 minus 4 plus 15, okay? So in this case here, if you go the way that you were kind of originally taught, and you say, well, I'm supposed to add and then subtract, okay? This is where things can go wrong, so I'm going to show you now. So we're going to do it the other way, the original way that you guys have learned before. Well, what's 4 plus 15? Well, that gives us 19. Okay, so again, by adding these two, we get 19. Well, then 3 minus 19, this is our integer rules. We know that it's different signs subtract, take the sign from a larger number. Okay, so again, 19, and then we're taking away 3, gives us 16. And it's going to be a negative because 19 is negative. Okay, and it's the larger number. Now, this is not the correct answer. Put in a calculator and you put in 3 minus 4 plus 15, you're not going to get negative 16. Okay, because we didn't do it the way that we're supposed to. Add and subtract, you go left to right. This is first, we should have subtracted first, and then add 15. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put this over here, just to remind us. We got negative 16 that first time. Let's do it the way we're supposed to. Okay? Oh, man. Okay. So, 3 minus 4. Again, adding and subtracting, what do we do first? You go left to right. So, 3 minus 4, different signs subtract. Okay? This will give us a negative 1. 4 is larger, 4 is the negative, so we get a negative 1. If you have to kind of pause that to kind of figure out how that happened, then do that, okay? Now we bring down the plus 15. So I'm just kind of rewriting. So negative 1 plus 15, again, different signs. I have a negative 1, I have a positive 15. Different signs subtract, take the sign from a larger number. So 14, when you subtract them, and then the 15 is larger, 15 is positive, the answer is positive 14. As you can see, negative 16 and 14, a very big difference, okay? If you look on a number line, you got your negative 16 way over here and your positive 14 way over here. These are two different numbers, okay? So it's important that, and I'll try to get some examples in here today that kind of put you in these situations. When you multiply and divide, you're trying to figure out which one I do, always go left to right, okay? All right, let's see here. Let's take this down. All right, so some reminders, okay, of your rules: addition, subtraction of integers, multiplication, and division. I'm going to also write those over here. So here's our order of operations, and let's do addition, subtraction. So I'll put this thing here. Let's see, addition, subtraction. So when you're adding and subtracting, we have same signs, add, okay, and then keep. So I kind of do it like that. Different signs, subtract, and then larger. Larger. Okay, that does not look like larger. We're gonna roll with it. Okay, then when we multiply, let's see. Okay, I have a multiplication dot there. When you multiply and divide, and I'll put the X here. We know what X is. Multiply and divide, we have same signs, positive. We use the plus sign for positive. Now I'll write positive. And different. Okay, these are our rules we're going to be needing. So hopefully you've been writing these down kind of from the beginning. Today we had the order of operations. These are the rules over here that we need to refer to as we're working out these different problems, these order of operations. All right, so let's start off with problem here. I'm gonna kind of write down some examples that I've taken here. So let's go with -3 minus 1. Okay, when you have a large fraction like this, okay, you have numbers in the numerator and the denominator, you need to treat them separately. Do all the math in the numerator, do all the math in the denominator. When you get to the very end and you have a number in the numerator and denominator, then treat it as a fraction or treat it as a division, because that's what the fraction bar is. Remember in the other problem, the lesson right before this, dividing integers, we got used to seeing a fraction bar and we know that means just dividing, okay? In your work on a problem like this, I think because they're negative, they put parentheses around it. That's fine. The parentheses are there, does not mean you're multiplying, okay? This is -3 minus 1 and -4 plus 2, okay? So a -3 minus 1, okay? So we look up here, so we need to use the addition subtraction. Same signs add, so I'm gonna put an equal sign here. Same signs add, so that gives us a 4, and you're supposed to keep your sign. So that's a -4, okay? Now you have a -4 plus 2. Different signs subtract, take the sign from a larger number. This is what you have. Okay, now this is a fraction, it's -4 over or divided by a -2. You can simplify this, this is just division. How many times does 2 go into 4? 2 times? Negative divided by negative, remember over here, same signs are positive, so our answer is just +2. This is the kind of strong work that I need to see. I need to see the steps worked out. If you printed out the homework, then you can just go ahead and write your first step, which would be like this kind of stuff here. If you didn't, you need to rewrite this problem and then start showing your work. Okay, again, the homework can be done on a worksheet that you printed out, or you can do it on just normal lined paper, okay? All right, let's see what else. So again, then we're gonna box or circle our answers in to show me what your answers or where your answers are located. Now, let's see, anything else there? So again, in this one here, we use same signs and different signs. We use both of these, and then we also use this one here, all right? The situation with PIMDES, the order of operations, we didn't really use that one too much because it was kind of given to us. We have to do the numerator, we have to do the denominator. Let's do another one. Let's see, let's do, all right, -2 squared minus 12 divided by 2. All right, next one. We have something like this, okay? Squared, something raised to a power of 2 or a power of 3, and that means you're taking that number and you're multiplying it by itself that many times. So -2 squared is -2 times -2. Okay, well, we look over here. 2 times 2 is 4, but it's the same sign as a negative times a negative is a positive. So this right here actually becomes just a +4. So, a couple ways to do this. The way I prefer, sometimes you can work kind of horizontally this way. I like to sometimes work vertically. This right here becomes a 4, we said +4, and then a subtraction sign. And then you can go ahead and bring this one down. And then, so again, if you looked over here, parentheses, exponents is the E. So we did the exponents. Now you need to multiply or divide. Well, we have division right here. So 12 divided by 2, how many times does 2 go into 12? 6 times. So we rewrite the 4 minus, and this right here becomes a 6. You don't have to draw the arrows if you don't want to, but that's just kind of the way that I kind of do my steps and do my work. Now last, is add and subtract. Well, we have a subtraction sign, okay? Doesn't always mean we're going to be subtracting. We have to look at our rules and determine is it same signs or different. +4 and -6, these are different signs. Different signs subtract. Take the sign from a larger number. Again, this is what it says here, subtract and then you do larger. 6 is larger, it's negative, our answer is negative. Okay? You don't have to tell me which one of these used, just kind of show your work and then there's your answer. Okay, again, you can work vertically, you can work vertically, you can work horizontally. It's kind of up to you on how you want to do it. Let's do some more. This lesson throws a lot of kind of curveballs and things at you, so I want to make sure we're ready for those. Let's take this down. Oh man, that's crazy. All right, let's see. Let's do another fraction one. 3 minus 4 times -2. Okay, here's another fraction one. Again, like I said before, when it's written as a large fraction like this, numerator, do the math. Well, it's just 10, that one's done, so we don't have to do anything. So over here, you can go ahead and write a 10. Now it's 3 minus 4 times -2. Well, you cannot multiply the -2 yet because of parentheses. If there's anything going on inside of parentheses, you must do that first, okay? So there's something going on here, there's a subtraction. So we need to do this first. 3 minus 4, use these rules right here, the addition and subtraction. They are different signs, so you're going to subtract, take the sign from a larger number. 3 minus 4 gives you -1. -1 times -2. Now we're multiplying, so we go down here. Okay, we have 10 stays the same, all right? -1 times a -2, well 1 times 2 is just a 2. Same signs positive, that's what we get in the denominator. Now we do the division. The very last thing is simplify your fraction or do the division up here. 2 goes into 10, 5 times and you're done. So all this craziness right here is actually just a 5. Okay, that is how you work the order of operations. Let's do, is the board looking kind of crazy? Let's see, let me try to clean it up a little bit. Let's do another one. Trying to make sure that, again, this one might have some that I didn't do similar on the board. So use what you know, you work through it. I have the answers for you for this homework. So if you're not getting the right answer, find out where you're messing up. Are you messing up in the order of operations? Are you messing up with some of these integer rules that we had just talked about? Kind of find out where you're going wrong. Some of you might have a sibling or a parent that might be able to kind of find the error for you or help you out. But worst come to worst, always know that I am around if you need it. It could even be a situation where you keep getting the wrong answer on a problem, and you take a picture of your work. You take a picture of your work and you send it to me, and you say, I can't figure this out. What am I doing wrong? And I'll find it, and I'll send an email back and say, oh, right here, you messed up on this part, and then you should be good from there. So again, use your resources, use your help, but just make sure you're showing your work. All right, back up here, let's find another one. All right, so order of operations, not always written as a fraction, sometimes can be written and have a division sign, so we're gonna do that now. Let's go with, all right, because the negatives are in parentheses, I need to do this one and show you because this looks really crazy. And I'm gonna kind of walk you through it. Don't be terrified when it looks like something like this, okay? You kind of need to find out where the parentheses go. So this parentheses is around a 6. So this means you're multiplying all of this by 6 at the very end. Because remember, parentheses is the very first thing. So you have parentheses out here. So it means all of this is inside, okay? This -4 has its own parentheses. And this here, let's see if I can show, let's see here. This darker parentheses is where we need to start. Okay, you have to kind of work your way in and kind of find out where's the inside to this craziness. And it's right in here. So this is what we're doing first. You take your -18 and you're dividing by -6. How many times is 6 going to 18? Okay, and I'm gonna rewrite all this craziness. I'm gonna get rid of some parentheses though. Okay, let's do that first. -18 divided by -6, well 18 divided by 6 gives you a 3. And negative divided by negative, they're the same sign, so it's positive. So that's positive 3. And then we're subtracting -4. There, kind of doing one step kind of took a lot of the craziness out. Now, if you think back to second video, I think, second lesson or something like that, this right here should be putting some sort of a code, like, something's going on here, this isn't right. We're subtracting a negative. Oh, I didn't add that up here. I guess I could have. All right, in your addition and subtraction, you can go and add, okay, when you're subtracting a negative, okay, subtracting a negative, you add the inverse. I'll add that here. I'll put it down here. I had it in blue before, so I'll put it in blue again. This is for addition, subtraction, really just subtraction, but subtracting a negative you add the inverse. Okay, so just a quick reminder there and down there in blue. So in this case right here, you're subtracting a negative, so you add the inverse. It just becomes addition. So now I'm going to rewrite it. So again, subtracting a negative, the 3, your first term inside of here, first term stays. Then you add, and your inverse of a -4 is a +4, so it's just a 4. Okay, now, again, we're still inside the parentheses. You have to keep working this parentheses down until it's gone, and then you're gonna multiply by 6 at the very end. 3 plus 4, same signs, add, keep your sign. I know we know 3 plus 4, but we're just gonna, remember the rules still apply. 6 times 7, and you're done. Okay, again, I know a lot of steps on this one, but just take it one step at a time. Get your answer, check the answer with the answer sheet that's given and provided to you to make sure you did it right. If you're not getting the right answer, go back. Either redo the whole problem or work through it and find out where you think you might have made the mistake. Okay? Let's see. There's really only, I'm gonna have you work through some of these now. All right, so I'm gonna take this down and then I'm going to put up a problem and have you work. All right, let's go with 4 plus 1 minus -10 divided by 5. All right, so this is how it looks, this is how it is, but the programming thing, it takes the negatives and it puts them in a parentheses, so it actually looks like this, but it's just a -10 divided by 5. That's kind of where you start inside the parentheses. Take a moment and work through this and see what you get. Okay, so if you did this correctly, over here, parentheses first, so you must do inside the parentheses. So we're going to take the 4 and the 1, 4 plus 1 minus, we're just going to bring those down. Now we need to work inside the parentheses. What is -10 divided by 5? Well, 5 goes into 10 2 times, so it is a 2. And a negative divided by positive, different signs down here. Different signs negative. So this is actually a negative, okay? Right here, okay? You should see this right here, this minus and negative. Let's go ahead and fix that now. Remember down here in blue, when you're subtracting a negative, you add the inverse. So let's rewrite that. 4 plus 1, adding the inverse, this just becomes addition, plus 2. Okay? Now it's all addition left, but again, let's go left to right. If this happened to be a subtraction sign, let's say it was subtraction, you still must go left to right. It's addition and subtraction. When you're trying to determine between them, don't pick which one you like better or which one you think will be easier to do. You must go left to right. Okay, think about the way that we read left to right, so do this problem left to right. But this is addition, still gonna be left to right. 4 plus 1 gives us 5, plus 2 is 7, and you're good to go. Again, I do a vertical method, and I like to kind of draw lines to show you. You do not have to do this way, but I need to be able to see what you're doing in the work that you are, the steps that you're showing. This is the best way I found to show steps. Some of you might rather go to the right and go horizontally. That's fine. Just keep in mind, the papers and things that I'm giving you guys, you don't have a lot of space to kind of keep going to the right. Sometimes you might not have a lot of space to go down. So if you can't make it fit on this paper for some reason, take another sheet of paper, number your problems, refer back to the other video, and if you have to rewatch it, when I remind you and how to kind of set up the work for the problems and for the work and how to show your work. Let's see, we'll do one last one. Let's see, actually I don't think, do I have another one? Let's see. Let's do this. -6 plus 3 divided by, okay. Now this is what it is. It's a -6 plus, and then you have a fraction, numerator, you're adding. The thing again with the negatives, it puts a parentheses around it. Doesn't change the value of anything. Work this out and see what you get. All right, so if you did this correctly, you look at it, you say, well, there's parentheses. I don't see parentheses. There are technically parentheses here, but there's no operation inside, so there's nothing you can do there. Some of these parentheses might throw you off. Parentheses means if there's work to do on the inside, there's no work, it's just a number, so that's not the parentheses we're looking for. Exponents, no exponents, multiply and divide. Well, we do have this division, but you cannot do this division until you get the numerator and denominator taken care of. So let's work in the numerator. So I'm going to bring the -6 down, plus, now 2 plus 3, we know is 5, same signs add, keep the sign, okay? And then keep your denominator as -5 for now. Now let's do the math. 5 divided by -5. 5 goes into 5 one time, and now we have different signs. Right here, different signs is negative, okay? So since that's negative, then this becomes a negative. Now, when you're adding a negative, you really kind of need to put the parentheses up to show you there. Now, this is all the way back to, I think, the first lesson we did. And when you're adding, okay, you just look at the sign in front. When it comes to it, and as we move on in this class in pre-algebra and eventually get into algebra, we need to start simplifying these. As if this was a final answer and you were to give this, I'm going to remind you, we don't write two operations like this next to each other. We need to simplify that. So if you think of a number line and you're starting at -6 and you're adding a negative, you're actually subtracting. So this actually is a subtraction. That's why when we look at this is a negative, same signs add. Okay? When you're adding a negative, it's the same, and I don't want you to overthink this. We can get more into this in the classroom. It's the same as just subtracting. Adding a negative is the same as subtracting, okay? But we'll go back to the way we had it. So 5 divided by -5 gives us a -1, addition sign, -6. Now let's look and find out when we add and subtract, same signs add. So 6 and 1 give us 7. And then you keep the sign from the larger number, or sorry, keep the sign. Okay, they're both negative, so our answer is negative. And there we go. All right, so I'm hoping that worked out. That one might have kind of confused you a little bit with this part right here, but this is what the practice is for. Also, that's also why I give you your answers. You need to make sure you're doing these correctly. All right. Let's see, next one we start talking about algebraic expressions. We're gonna introduce variables and all that kind of fun stuff. So enjoy this while we have it. Make sure you get this done correctly. And I look forward to seeing you guys again in another video. See you later.